1647, 1066 as well, just memorable times. You know?
Fair enough. All right, let's get back into the draft here. No surprise, G2 again sticking with those T1 bans. Those seem to work out quite nicely.
The Gragas by Rakan taken off the board. The
Ah.
Raven, Olaf, and Maokai now banned away from Mad Lions. This does mean the Nautilus up, and without hesitation, G2 quick to lock that one in.
See, it is so rough because I completely agree with how powerful Maokai is. And so they do slot in the Maokai ban on this side, but then you're like, wait, they're leaving up both those really big champions that just destroyed us in the previous one. Anyways, it will open up at least the Cassante pick here.
Yeah, it was Mad that banned Cassante in game 1. Here they can lock it in. Has been predominantly chasey, 19 games on it so far in 2023.
Yeah, expectations are that it will be going into the top lane. This does give Broken Blade the opportunity to pick some counter. If they want to be safe, they could just go for something like the Gnar, but they don't need to lock that in just yet. Ooh, Kazi locking in the Aphelios. Now, Kazi doesn't have a great record on Aphelios. His all-time performance has not been the strongest. I forget exactly what his win rate is on the champion, but you really don't associate this man with this champion.
Yes, throw down the Cassiopeia. Definitely one of the highest DPS mages that you can run in the current meta. There's so many mages right now where the meta is all Ahri and Lissandra and you know, and these other things.
So,
Cassiopeia comes in.
It might also be a top lane Cassio.
It is flexible, yes,
G2 is a team that's no stranger to flexing these picks.
I mean, we just had the flavor text of the Yasuo pick
but
there.
I wouldn't be surprised if they want that into Cassante specifically. So they're prepared to bring that into the mid lane matchup in the event that Mad want to play it in mid, or it might even be a deterrent. They're saying, we don't want you to play the Cassante mid lane. You'd have to go into a Cassio if you then did that.
I mean, the miasma is so good against a champion that has 5 billion dashes. Definitely think that's a wise choice.
Works out quite well. And Braum locked in finally for Mad Lions. Obviously a counter to the Nautilus, but that Naut could still, as we said, go towards the mid lane with the Cassio moving up towards top. Thresh banned away. You can see Mad respecting the fact that there is still this flexibility from G2.
Curious as to what direction they'll go. Support's still being banned away from Mad, because as you rightly said, like, expectations are this Nautilus is going into support, but so many flex options on the side of G2. We think back to the glory days. We often love to reference those in Europe. This was when G2 was at their peak, was when they had so many flex picks. You could never really tell where things were going. Right now in the meta, it feels like there are a lot of very powerful flex picks, and teams are not afraid to take advantage of that. As Mad, I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to ban away supports, but they might ban away something like the Gnar, maybe even a Gwen if they're worried about a top lane champion, depending on where they want to put this. The Cannon is another one.
And I mean, if I'm G2 looking at Mad, I'm trying to ban away stuff that puts threat on these low mobility carries, because Jinx and Cassio, I love these champions. They're super high DPS, super high possibility of carrying these team fights, but neither of them has their own dashes. So they need other champions to peel for them. They need the team to play around them. So one thing they really do have to worry about is dive.
At the moment, G2 are locked in at least their AD carry, probably their mid laner, and probably their support in the form of this Nautilus. Jason nearly banned away by them. Mad now have to look towards mid jungle for themselves. Wukong is still a possibility. It's worked its way through the draft so far. Elio could also go to something like the Sejuani or even the Lee that we saw him on earlier this week. Instead, Elise, an aggressive early AP jungle.
Really something that does want to punish a Jinx and Cassio, try and get those flashes blown, repeat ganks on them, don't let them get fed to the point where they're going to carry some team fights.
It also makes me wonder if Mad is thinking about a Tristana mid lane as well. We know how effective that champion can be, but you ideally want to mix up the damage profile. Very much depends on whether this Cassante is going mid. And there we are. So the Cassio likely to be going into the top lane with the Nautilus in mid and the Lulu down bot. Unless G2 want to be really crazy and put the Nautilus top, which we're yet to see, but, you know, I'm prepared for anything at this point.
Yeah, and you can do, you know, if they swap the Cassante to mid lane, then you swap what would be your top cast into the, you just follow whatever solo lane he is going to. And the Bel'Veth for Yike. Two of the champions that he's most known for throughout the history of this player. The Kha'Zix, now the Bel'Veth here picked up for him. Very exciting stuff. The amount of faith that G2 have had in this young player picking him up and being such a carry.
Oh,
okay.
Irelia?
Hey, that threat! That threat on the Cassio, I love it.
I mean, that's a very deadly top lane jungle duo, right? If you get on her with the stun from the Aurelia, Cocoon follows up, and that Cassio is not going to have a fun time.
Get there early and get there often, Vedius.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when you think about miasma into Aurelia, I think of a really miserable time. I definitely think that there's strong setup. I wonder if last minute G2 will consider even swapping so they put the Cassio into the mid and the Nautilus up towards the top lane, but I don't think that's a much better matchup in terms of like easier to play around. Mad going for a much more topside focused playstyle, and to their credit, when they found most of their success, it was when they were playing through chasing.
And I actually really love this draft from Mad as well, because with the Braum, you have level 1 priority. If you can get level 1 priority, get in there for an invade and get some early wards for the Elise to work off of, then you can definitely try and punish that Bel'Veth who wants to farm early.
I will say, as much as Bel'Veth does want to farm early, you may not have seen G2's Bel'Veth ganks.
Yikes. Yeah.
Level
Yep.
2 ganks,
Yeah,
level
yeah,
3
yeah.
ganks. It was
Fair-
4-0
fair enough.
in the early game. He does love, of course, to stack up that passive Death and Lavender, gives you all that extra attack speed, but Yike can, if he gets ahead in the early game, really snowball on this Bel'Veth.
All right, I'm hoping for a level 1 hard push here for Mad, though, to try and make this Sears exciting. They need to strike back here, I feel like.
Yeah, well, they've taken a bit of a gamble with the Aurelia top lane. It's going to be an interesting one. Mad Lions and G2 make their way back out onto the Rift for game 2. As we mentioned, Mad's no strangers to being in this position.
Welcome to the LEC!
Anyone got a Kit Kat?
Yeah. Oh, man.
I will say, even though we only got like 2 seconds of a look at the map, I'm already kind of happy. 5 members of Mad Lions heading together for a level 1. Some Braum. You lead with the Braum, you have the Q, you have the passive.
I'm still just trying to get it, like, of course, it's an LEC v LEC game. That
Fnatic
we get the
pause
balls. Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's kind of my fault. I wanted the full LEC experience coming up here. I gotta catch
you well.
2 LEC teams
So normally
together.
we'd get the wheel out, and then it's the wheel of activities that we would
Nice.
do in situations like this as well.
I would like to play. I love games.
How familiar are you with drill? Because we're going to write a drill song.
I have no idea what you just said.
It's a music style that originated in London.
Okay.
Yes.
Neither Vedi nor I should ever participate
Yeah,
in it.
we can't write drill. That's why I was hoping he could.
I do think we're going to get back on into the game, just a brief pause. And we see Mad working their way down towards this bottom lane. Question is, will Mickey step too far forward?
Oh, little Lulu.
In the bush, there be monsters. Oh. Okay, shh. Crowd. Can't give it away, okay?
I don't think anything will be given away.
No.
With it.
Happy little Lulu in the river. Nothing to see here. Danger averted.
So Broken Blade, we have to have this conversation, gentlemen. At what point do we ask Broken Blade, does he just want to be a mid laner? He's played Yasuo, he's playing Cassio.
Hasn't played Cassio before competitively
See,
either.
that's what I'm saying. Mid lane champions. It's going to be...
Caps is struggling. Maybe Broken Blade's on you mid.
I swear I've seen him play it in Champions Queue, though,
yeah.
I feel like.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely something they would have practiced well in advance. This is a team that loves to cook.
As far as wanting to be mid lane, though, I think the thing he loves most is the long lane of top lane, as we see Yike doing the patented Bel'Veth Raptor harassment.
A lot of damage, though, there onto Yike.
He got his level 2 already.
Oh, Niski. That is not a trade that you want to take.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I keep my eyes on the bot lane. Ignite was popped here.
And some had to use the cleanse as well, as Kazi and Mickey facing off towards the top side. Hilasan gets the concussive blows down, and Mickey has to flash away. In the end, 3 summoners
Oh, he's
for
coming
3
bottom.
in the bottom lane. As you say, Illyria working his way down. Hansama does have the flash. Can he get away from the cocoon? Needs one more minion, but can't get it. Flash away from Hansama. He'll survive, and now they try and turn the damage back down onto Illyria. He goes up, comes down, and dashes back to the safety of his teammates.
Yeah, nice little chunk there. They do have that ward, too. You can see the ward for G2 up on blue buff and Gromp.
The problem, Kobe, is what you talked about was you want to see early investment topside from that. The map has now just been split. Like, you now have
Were we just
Bel'Veth-
looking at the bottom side of that?
Yeah, because
Holy.
Bel'Veth has done a full clear topside, level 3, and this Aurelia is now left isolated. And, like, sure, the idea, Aurelia plus Elise, very lethal combo. But when isolated, the Cassio just bullies that matchup to no end.
Exactly. I love that point because it also relies so much on jungle pressure. Otherwise, the Cassio just gets to bully you with that range advantage, constantly poisoning you, constantly harassing you, as we watch our wet noodle fight. Is that what you guys are calling this? These tank
a bit of
battles?
handbags between these two guys. Caps was able to get a sizable CS lead because Nisqy was forced so low at the level 1, so as the wave crashes in, Caps should be able to open that up once again. Will be about 5 or 6 depending on how many minions he farms underneath this tower.
Yeah. But every solo queue jungler is used to when you're playing against a Bel'Veth or a Kayn, you know, anything that can annihilate your Raptors that quickly.
He's got a flash, right? He's got a flash across the wall, flashes into the bush. Chasey doesn't want to chase any further, doesn't know.
They're mid halfway roam here. I love this when Nisqy's actually hiding in the brush. Oh, they found him. Caps does go and find him. So it is just going to be the red buff steal here.
Nice roam from Nisqy. Means that the split map will work out in favor of Mad. Chasey playing very well in the top lane 1v1. You know, we talk about how, in terms of the harass, very advantageous for the Cassio, but if Aurelia against any mage is able to get that fully stacked passive and can just free hit onto you, there are very few champions in the game. Especially, like, that's why often Aurelia was considered so good into things like the Orianna and the traditional mages, because of how easily she could stick onto you.
I want to see if Yike goes for second Raptor spawn. Since he started on Raptors, he can push out mid.
TP goes in, Pathmaker used by Nisqy, has that Q3 as well, looking for the knockup. Yike's going to dash away, flash forward on the Caps, the stun with the cocoon, and Elioya draws first blood.
Great trap here from Mad. They know what G2's plan is. Yike has the timer on second Raptor spawn, so he goes mid. They want to push out mid and help him go to counter jungle again. But Chasey comes with the teleport. Elioya comes up through the river. Elise is there, and they counter the play before it even gets started.
Excellent punish there from Mad. The bot lane now looking to trade once again. The stun comes through from Hilly.
Breakable use as well from Healer. Sanghan Summer trying to put some damage back into Kazi. You can see how low Mickey and Hansama are. Cap's able to push Nisqy out of the mid lane, but he does have the TP. Meanwhile, Elioya catching Yike out and finds his man once again. Broken Blade trying to trade onto Chasey, but in the end, Elioya will get the solo kill and steal away the Grom.
Elioya is playing so incredibly well. This Elise, they know the Bel'Veth is going to want to start their Raptors. He starts on bottom side, he level 2 ganks, and he's actually up in CS over the Bel'Veth. Comes in with the counter jungle here from Tribrush. Gets the extra kill as well as the camp, but Cap's already on the move, and Elioya is here to cover.
Elioya will spot him as he comes around the corner. There's a control wood in the Tribush as well that will keep eyes on Caps, as Broken Blade and Caps were looking for something, with Chasey being underneath his tower, but Elioya's protection will make it very easy for Chasey to farm up this wave.
Yeah, he's just been so active on the map here, influencing each matchup. And with his early upgraded sword shoes off those kills.
All out doesn't take him across the wall, which means Caps does still have the flash and can use the dredge line, but knocked back with the Q3. Caps flashes under the tower, can't quite get the damage down. Nisqy looks for more and will take him out above and below. From Yike with the flash forward will find his mark. Concussive blows, 1 stack on him, and Yike will just dash back away.
Wow, good punish overall from Mads, but the execution slipping a little bit means that a lot has to be invested from Nisqy to be able to get that kill.
No flash on BB.
Can he get 6?
Down, threat of a dive.
He has 6. Cocoon wide, petrifying gaze, though finds them both. And Broken Blade just stares into their eyes and takes the 1v2. Kazi trading on the bottom lane, the zap comes out, but in the end, Mickey and Hansama will just back away.
Yeah, more like broken ankles. He dodges the cocoon, hits the ultimate, and puts Elioya in the dirt. Does mean as well G2 with Elise showing top side. Since their top laner 2v1s, they know they have pressure.
Matt gonna try and react to this. Mickey already so low. Pathmaker's gonna lock him up for the moment. One more order would be enough to stun the concussive blows. He flashes away. Kazi has blue and white, and he is ready for this battle in the river. They'll get one more. The dragon secured. Yike trying to dash away, but he can't get his enhanced form in time. Mad take 2, although they do lose the dragon.
Mad though, they're playing incredibly aggressive in the early game. They know that they're so much stronger, largely thanks to this Elise, and they're more than happy to take these skirmishes, really showcasing the power of the Cassante in the mid lane.
Yeah, actually, Mad are like, you know what? It's fine. We got 2v2 or 2v1 outplayed on top side, our Elise side. It's okay. We get 2 kills on our Aphelios, and now they've got a 2v1 at the tower. Everybody's coming.
Yike's still not level 6 either, so couldn't even got the true form from that dragon. Doesn't have it for this fight. Hansama cleanses away, but he's dead before any reinforcements can arrive.
The Mad Lions are eating well tonight, and they're going to repeat annihilate the wave. Yeah, G2 have no defenses here. Caps has no teleport, he's walking.
Biggie has no flash, no dash, no way out. As Hillisang trading onto Yike up towards the top side. Yike trying to dash around an endless banquet perhaps for him, but he's stunned up, locked up. Kazi flashes away from the tower range to make sure that he wasn't the next to meet his maker. And it's 4-0 on Kazi.
Wow, Kazi is popping off right now as Niski's presence on the map is monumental. This Cassante pick is just doing so much work in the fights, in the skirmishes, and in these dives that G2 are very quickly falling apart.
Broken Blades in all chat right now. Guys, what's going on? Mad Lions are destroying G2 on the bottom side of the map, despite Broken Blade on this flex Cassio.
I mean, we saw it in game one as well. Niski just finding better roam timers than Caps, and really on the Jace being able to unlock more options from that lane, but it didn't really convert into the team fights later on. This time, though, Kazi being in such a commanding position on the Aphelios, and this Lulu so squishy in the early game. Hillisang not afraid to get into the fight, and it's very easy with these early power picks for Mad to really dominate.
And credit to Niski and Elioa for this early game. Both of them have been involved in 7 of their team's 8 kills, and it's their synergy that is paying off dividends here for Mad. G2 3,000 gold behind now, and you look at it, Yikes had a really poor early game, Caps has had a really poor early game, Hans Summer is only just ticked over to level 6, and he hasn't got any kills in the bot lane either. You are really looking at Broken Blades, the one guy that has any gold on this team.
Look again, Niski on the roam down. Caps very early in his transition from mid to bot, but Mad is threatening the dive.
No cleanse or flash on Hans Summer, but he puts the Flame Chompers down, and the dive is dissuaded, at least for the moment. Another plate, though, for Kazi means that his gold continues to accelerate.
Oh my god, he's got kills, plates, and CS advantage, covering all gold bases here for the Mad Lions 80 carry.
Right, Kazi has 1.7k gold more than Hans Summer right now. 4.4 thousand gold. And that is just such a massive lead. And in an 80 carry meta, it's so difficult to come back from this sort of situation.
And look again at the bot side of the map. This time the bot lane can assist Elioya in the invade. He was able to secure the first red, looking to secure the second. And Mad Lions, they're just playing very well. This mid-jungle working together.
And this is the meta that has developed over MSI and has been proven here. Bottom lane focus. It's so hard to stop these bottom lane snowballs, but they're gonna try. Teleports in.
Jack did take the Rift Herald while we were pondering the power of Mad's early game, and does have that, has the true form as well, which gives you a huge amount of stats on the Belveth, but really just here to distract Mad Lions from going for any further action down towards this bottom lane. And G2, 4 members down here, means that, well, Niski can just go back up to mid, catch the wave. It might be that G2 decide to invest the Rift Herald here, even though they know they can't take the tower. It's very much more about just getting some gold into Hans Summer.
Yeah, level 6 Braum has a lot of defense options here. It's pretty tough to dive.
Caps needs to be careful. He's just trying to zone them away from the tower. That third plate didn't quite get secured for G2, but you look at mid, Niski pushing as well. Will secure himself another plate. So overall, the trade not too bad, and Mad still find themselves in a 3k gold lead. Huge props to Niski and Elioya. We talk about the mental resilience of this team, and very quickly in this game they bounce back. They've been working together very well, and they are dominating in the early game.
Yeah, I think the last couple minutes here have been very, very good for Mad Lions. Getting the teleport out of Caps, who has had a lot of trouble on Nautilus trying to keep up with these Cassante roams. No teleport now for him as well. And the Rift Herald not getting a lot of effectiveness, even requiring an extra person just to get off that tower shot that even only got 1 turret plate. So Mad very, very happy with this. They only had the one little blip on the radar that was the topside tower dive in. Now they're looking to correct it, and they're bringing Cassante too, but it looks like Niski did pass through a little bit of vision here, so maybe Yike
Chasey threw the ultimate out. Chasey!
Yeah, Chasey's just losing to 1v1. He went in on his lonesome, trying to dash around with a Blade Surge. Broken Blade still very healthy. Chasey tanks the tower, and Broken Blade takes him out in the 1v1. Yeah, I think we can all agree with Broken Blade there.
Broken Blade's actually kind of 1v9 right now. The emote is for him and the rest of his team.
Well, I'm very surprised at Chase's play there. He committed the E early, so that had to be forced on cooldown, which meant that there wasn't any kind of follow-up or even setup with the dive before the Elise is dead. Then he throws out the ultimate trying to force a 1v1, and then he ends up just getting solo killed. And while the fancy feed did look cool, he just handed another kill over to this Casio.
Yeah, I'm looking at the minimap. Oh, look at the rotations coming through here. He was like, what is Aurelia doing?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's not a play.
Dragon now up, though. We'll have a look back at this. And again, you look at the minimap, and I guess he's trying to force the wave underneath the tower.
Honestly,
Broken Blade is saying, like, well, I'm just going to keep this wave as far away from you as possible, or from the tower as possible, and then, yeah, ends up losing his life.
Honestly, I think it's just really good from Broken Blade. Yeah, because Chasey there, okay, maybe he's a little bit like a micro unit, a little bit up and needs to wait for the rest of the dive to get there, but that was just a really good play from Broken Blade. Jumps on him. We mentioned the miasma from Champ Select, the power there, even with the back step on the ultimate.
See, Mad Lion starting up the Dragon here. G2 did get the first of the game, and it looks like they will forfeit this one. Super Mega Death Rocket blocked by Niski. But yeah, I just want to give more credit to Broken Blade, as you say, Kobe. It's very easy to stand back and defend your tower in that situation, and what Broken Blade did was step forward, make sure the wave couldn't quite get in, and keep Chasey having to try and overstep a little bit to get that wave underneath the turret. But for the moment, he is the smallest of shining lights here for G2. 2-0-0 on the Casio. First item complete. Seraph's on its way. You can see about 1,000 gold in the lead, but the chasm in the bot lane continues to be pretty big, as Kazi is 1.6k ahead. Oh, sorry, 2k ahead.
The mid game is something that both of these teams have had questions thrown towards as a result of this tournament. And Mad Lions have found themselves with a lead like this before, and they were not quite able to close it out. So what we need to see now is clean, patient play from Mad. They obviously want to keep accelerating the pace of the game, but when you have an Aphelios and a Cassante, your scaling doesn't fall off. It's only going to continue to get stronger. Of course, when you kind of look at these fights, though, you can imagine them with a Nautilus, with a Lulu, with a Casio. It's going to be harder to play around and execute in the traditional front-to-back.
And as much as I agree with you, Betty, the time the Mad Lions were in this position and lost was against a slightly tougher opponent, I'm going to say, as we look for Kazi. He gets Caps in at the mid lane. Caps 0-4, and his woes continue as Mad are able to pounce and find their prey. Hillisang puts up the Unbreakable. Chasey trading with Broken Blade, dodges away from the Petrifying Gaze. Broken Blade tanks up a couple of tower shots. Chasey down to half HP, but should be able to just clear out this wave. Elioya on his way down to protect his top laner, as is Yike for Broken Blade.
Funniest thing about that tower dive is Karzi is the same level as Caps. Just blows him up there with the giant gold lead as well. Broken Blade, though, has Yike behind him.
You can see the protection being added here. Chasey going forward, TP used as Cap's going to join the party, and now Elioya is caught in the midst of G2. Repels away, they're tanking the tower, and they'll get another 2 for naught in the bot lane. Hillisang looking to see perhaps if he can get some small semblance of mercy out of this. Unsummer locked up, cleanses, has the blast cone to escape and doesn't even use it to go towards the bottom side.
Broken Blade diff is actually going to be the win con here for G2. Mad Lions, with the commitment of G2 to back up Broken Blade on the bottom side, will at least get a tower in payment. But that's what I do right now as well on G2. Everybody just go to Broken Blade. He is the one massively carrying. He's got the OP double item power spike here with the Rod plus the Seraphs transformed on Casio. Broken Blade is your god now, G2. Pray to him.
Of course, for Mad. Kazi is still having an incredible game. But let's look back at this play as Yike finds himself in a great position. Broken Blade, of course, knows he can play this aggressive with the TP coming in. Mickey on his way down as well. A very quick initial pick onto Chasey. Elioya is forced to run away, but he gets chain CC'd by the Nautilus. Caps tanks up the tower and is able to walk away to safety. But Kazi and Hillisang did find a pick as well. They forced all of the summoner spells out from Han Summer. And Kazi, no sums himself, could prove fatal in upcoming fights.
I have to see is G2 are investing a lot of time up towards the top lane. This is going to have to flash away that miasma. We mentioned it in draft, starting to do work against the Mad Lions. So hard to dodge in and out of a fight if you are just locked down, rooted up. In the bot lane, Chasey will be able to take a tower. Kazi's pushing mid, but the tier 1 there has already fallen, and G2 will answer with a tier 1 in the top lane of their own. Rift Tower being put down as Yike clears away these minions. Remember, those Remora will spawn for him, buffing up the push here for G2. Kazi trying to work his way around, but has to go all the way through the back of his own jungle to make sure that he's not caught out by G2 on the rotation. The charge comes out from the Rift Herald. Kazi will join up with the rest of his team. Yike stunned up for a second. Niski going in with a Q3, locks up Mickey. Glacial Fisher used as well. The death charge going to come out, but already Yike has gone down, as has Mickey. And now Kazi really gets the opportunity to shine. A double. And a double for Elioya and Niski.
Oh, Mad Lions say, guess what? Your god is not here. There's no Broken Blade, G2, and they wipe them off the map.
A big overstep there from G2, and Mad realize it, and without any hesitation, force the fight. Mickey gets melted right off the bat with a really good ultimate from Hylissang, and Kazi just being left untouched in these fights with the Infinity Edge completed now as well. You can't afford to underestimate this team, and let's look back at this engage. Oh, actually, Niski to start us off. I thought it was the Hilly ultimate.
Yeah, huge pick there from Niski. Gets Mickey under the tower, so then it's just a scramble for G2. They're trying to skip their lives, but Cassante will not let it happen.
I mean, Niski really just did everything in that fight, didn't he? Killed the support, killed the AD carry, and back out on the map, and already he's looking for another kill.
Mickey's already fallen as well. Elioya on a killing spree now, 5-2-7 on the Elise, and Mad Lions are just tearing into G2.
We didn't even get to see Mickey respawn. That was Death Timer into Death Timer.
It's the life of a support Lulu in games like this. You ever over-position this position, you are caught out. A 5,000 gold lead extending now for Mad Lions. Kazi trying to raise this tower. We'll be able to get through half of it. The Dragon secured as well for Mad Lions as Elioya takes a second of the game. It is a Chem Soul, so not the most impactful in the world, but still something that you want to get if you can get your hands on it.
And will wisely split up their resources, send the bot lane mid, send the mid laner bot, and have Elioya solo out the Drake so they can keep the pressure up, force G2 onto their side of the map. And look at all this river control that they've now conceded. Our observers are highlighting it now. Vision across the board, just lit it in favor of Mad. And as they reset, they will of course lose some of that vision, but G2 will now have to fight their way back out onto the Rift, and they still haven't even been able to secure this mid lane tower.
Yeah, I think Mad Lions, all they have to do is track Broken Blade and play around his positioning. Broken Blade does have teleport right now, so G2 are at a point where they do have the options of him traversing, but it still is going to be such a difficult setup for them. Mad Lions constantly taking over vision control. They'll continue to get these picks like we just saw on Mickey with Elioya on this Elise. Every time they move up, they advance into the brush with the control wards. Cocoon always a threatening pick tool. And
it's important to recognize that Caps is spending a lot of time grouped up with his team, and he is so poor right now. He is nearly 3,000 gold behind Niski. And he alongside Matt are just going to start off this Baron. Of course,
Niski doesn't have TP and he's in bot lane. Niski doesn't have TP. They are melting through it, as you say, Kobe, but this is going to be a 5v4 if G2 decide to collapse. Mad Lions called for the Baron. They try and collapse in. Caps going in. Good double death charge. Jike going forward as well. The above and below is going to find it. And already the shutdown. And Mad Lions, the story of throws at Barons continues. It's a song of ice and fire because it's a game of throws.
And that wasn't even a flip. That was straight up massacre. G2 obliterate them in the Baron pit. They will pick up the objective. Oh my.
What was that Baron call?
That's what we call a throw.
It made no, like if Niski was there, I completely understood it. Force the TP out, turn and fight, you know you're stronger. But Niski isn't there. You can't force that Baron. The gold has very quickly closed, and so many of the advantages that Mad had built for themselves are quickly disappearing.
With Caps just able to blast cone his way onto the backline here.
What an engage from Caps though. Like, I thought that this was really into the start, but he gets a three-person knocker. Yike then follows it up with another three-man knocker, but then Broken Blade with the execution onto the Aphelios, and then you see the Cassante in mid. Like, that force was such a poor decision from Mad, and G2...
They're laughing because...
he can't even look, he turned away.
I'm not even mad, I'm disappointed.
Yeah,
Mad, these guys right
they pinned themselves, 4-person separated from Niski inside the Baron pit. I also like, little shout out to Yike's positioning. On the Belveth, he walked up into the river, dashed back to try and draw them out so that the range of the blast cone jump from Caps would actually get him in the middle. It's a little bit of a setup there, and now it's G2 marching towards towers.
And the issue when you play into a Belveth is you get all of these Void Remora to help you with this Baron push. They get buffed And you can see Yike just standing on the sidelines as those minions die. They're looking for Hillsang, they're gonna lock him down. Han Summon low, down to half HP. Hillsang trying to frontline, and now the re-engage from Mad Lions. They isolate one, they kill off the god. Mad Lions, they are the kings of Europe, and they don't care about your gods as G2 start to retreat. Mad Lions looking for the chase a little bit more, though, as Caps has backed away in the mid lane. Does have the TP if Mad Lions overstep.
So now G2 find themselves in a 4v5, and it really is a hilarious situation where G2 top lane tried to force a 4v5 die, Mad force a Baron, 4v5 die, G2 push the bot lane, 4v5 die. Like, I feel like the numbers are quite important in League of Legends, gentlemen.
Oh, Europe's making a name for itself here at MSI. It's just not a very good one. Bit of a reputation for seeing how well the enemy team can catch. Mad Lions able to take a tier 2 in the bottom lane. They have about a 4,000 gold lead, and it is still a lot of weight on Broken Blade's shoulders for G2. 5-1 with 3 items on the Casio. The back comes out, and it looks like in the end all of Mad Lions should be able to extricate themselves from this situation. But Aloya looks for more, and Mickey is sent packing back to the fountain. He goes as Yike can get across this wall, looking for Hillsang, double TP, invested by Mad Lions. They want to take the fight, and it could be the fight that wins them the game. Aloya low, shut down by Yike, and now that Bel'Veth really gets an opportunity to dance around the battle. Oh, comes out from Caps, Chasey low, Broken Blade, full HP, full mana. The Bedfine Gaze finds one stun, and Snisky, who's locked up, Caps able to flash away. Yike gets another. He begins to bloom. He begins to blossom. But the red gunfight from Kazi could be enough. Broken Blade will sink his fangs in. Nisky now in a 1v2, the all out. Well, it's all for naught, you have to feel as Caps as Summer flashes. And in the end, it is a 5-for-3 in favor of G2.
And again, it is Broken Blade that will be the victor, the rich man on the Rift. Let's take a look at how it started, though, because it was the same. Cocoon pick onto Mickey. Now you see him, now you don't.
Yeah, I mean, like, the pick is promising initially for Mad, and then they're saying, hey, we can go forward, we can go forward. But again, other members have gone back to base. The TPs then come through, and they're saying, no, we can actually join this. We have the numbers advantage. But that initial pick onto Aloya unlocks Yike to start doing unbelievable damage. A good miasma will come out from Broken Blade here that separates the front from the back. And you can see how much harder it is for Kazi as he gets chain CC by the Nautilus as well. That allows him to burn down Chasey. And then with the ultimate pop from Yike, he gets the damage down to secure that kill onto Hillsang. You think that with Kazi alive, it's enough to turn the fight, but Broken Blade saying, I'm a level 16 Snake Lady and I bite real hard.
He does indeed. Nisky saying, I'm gonna flash. All right, doesn't even have to flash for it. Jumps right towards him. Finishes off the AD carry at least.
What a chaotic game. Back and forth. We reset, we return to the map. A 2K is the goal difference. Kazi on the Aphelios is very strong, but he is 3 whole levels behind Broken Blade, who has his 4th item completed.
I actually love the Stone Plate as well, because he knows he actually has to 1v9 in this scenario. Helps him out with a little bit of extra defenses.
And we've seen if he does have the opportunity to stand behind his front line, stand behind Caps, Broken Blade just melts anyone on Mad Lions. A veritable Medusa there for G2.
And he melded the objective as well. So during that very, very long replay, they picked up the extra dragon. G2 then evening up dragon count here with Mad Lions. Although Mad Lions still with a small gold lead for themselves.
Should we take a breather? We reset. 26, oh, we're only 26 minutes in. Well, right now, there's a lot of fight over the mid lane, which really, mainly for the Baron spawning in about 20 seconds. The concern right now for Mad Lions is how quickly G2 can do that objective. Remember that Broken Blade and Yike together could just do the Baron. I'm sure that if Kazi and Aloya could get onto the objective, that duo could also do it, but right now, it's G2 who's in control. Will this be another Baron throw, or will this be the decider of this game?
Hook wide, G2 not started up the Baron yet. It's all on the edge of the precipice. You have to feel Yike dashing away. Doesn't have that true form, needs the Baron to get it back once again. Mad Lions get mid-prio.
Exactly, Medic. They're the ones that have that push, forcing G2 to concede the river to catch this wave. And this means that Mad will gain access into the river. Now their positioning is stronger. The question is, will they start this objective up? Of course, G2 don't have full information right now. Will they face check? Now they have information. The Trinket will spot out the Mad haven't started it. So now this should, in theory, be G2's turn to get control over the mid wave and gain access into the river, and the ebb and flow of that river control continues.
Who face checks whom? That's the question that has to emerge as Cap stunned up, looks for the hook, can't quite land it. Pathmaker out with the root onto Niski now as he dashes back into the bush. No vision there for G2.
And look at the side lanes. The side lanes are all G2 favored. That is a double stack wave. They're going!
They're looking for the damage. Petrifying gaze across the wall, but on the back line, Kazi's still untouched. Hunsummer trying to do what he can as well. Lands the damage onto Niski. Hunsummer kills off JC, and Yike dashes in. An endless banquet for him as he takes one. There's two for Hunsummer. Hillisang now feeling the brunt of the rockets. Absolutely ricocheting through his backside. A triple for Hunsummer. Only Elioya left alive.
Mad Lions are torn apart by G2. The front to back was just too strong, and the game was given away. A single Baron was all it took, but that was all G2 needed to go 2-0 up in this series.
G2 complete the comeback here in game number 2. They bring it home. Honor Broken Blade.
And with that win, it's G2 and 0 against Mad Lions.
Broken Blade has to be happy with a performance like that. Absolute domination from the top side. The rest of the map was collapsing. The mid jungle was being dominated by Elioya and Niski. The bot lane trades were constantly going in the favor of Kazi and Hilly, and you felt like that this game was unlosable for Mad in the way that it was going. But Broken Blade, the shining light, and the second that that Baron was started, that was all G2 needed to tear Mad apart.
Oh man, that play, that was a rough Baron throw there. That didn't even get to the level of some of the other Baron throws we've had that were flips. that was just a straight up massacre there, but Broken Blade, that's why they call him the top father. He's got that top lane mental. He's seen it before. Whole team inting doesn't matter. He's on this massively scaling DPS threat, the Cassiopeia. Then G2 realize it, and they funnel all in behind him on the bottom side to try and make some consecutive plays off of him and make the comeback a reality.
For Mad Lions, you're on the brink of a victory there, right? If you played out the rest of the game a little bit more cleanly, that should have been your win. Of course, they were able to bounce back against BDS in the LEC finals. They were able to reverse